Welcome back to Notorious Figures in History. A one-armed hitman, a brutal mob murder, a $1.7 million heist, and a white minivan. This is the story of Thomas "Tommy" Dono, a Gambino crime family soldier who has lived more lives than most men could imagine. He killed an FBI informant to get made. He did 15 years in federal prison. And when he got out, he allegedly orchestrated one of the biggest retail heists in New York City history, using a ceiling hatch, fake construction workers, and a white minivan. This is the story of how a one-armed mobster became a modern-day legend. In the late 1990s, Thomas Dono was an associate of the Gambino crime family. He wanted to be made, officially inducted into the Mafia. But that honor doesn't come cheap. In late 1997, members of the Gambino family suspected a man named Frank Heidel of cooperating with the government. Heidel had reportedly provided information to federal authorities months before his death. That made him a target. Gambino soldier Thomas Huck Carbonaro, Dono's uncle, began plotting with associates Letterio De Carlo, Thomas Dono, and others to murder Heidel to prevent him from providing information about the murder of Frank Parasol in 1997. On the night of April 27, 1998, a close friend of Heidel's lured him to a strip club on Staten Island. The next morning, as Heidel was leaving, he was shot dead at close range in front of his car. Dono and De Carlo were present at the scene. Carbonaro was the getaway driver. Edmund Boyle pulled the trigger. After the murder, various members of the Gambino family proposed Dono for membership. He had proven his loyalty. He was in. But the Mafia's code of silence only works if no one talks. And eventually, someone did. In 2009, Dono and De Carlo pleaded guilty to conspiracy to murder Frank Heidel. They admitted they agreed to kill Heidel in order to maintain and increase their standing within the Gambino organization. On March 24, 2010, Dono was sentenced to 180 months, 15 years, in federal prison. Then U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara announced the sentencing, saying Dono and De Carlo were being punished for their participation in a conspiracy that resulted in the 1998 murder of Frank Heidel. Dono was 36 years old. He would spend the next decade and a half behind bars. But he wasn't done. In 2021, Dono was released from prison. He was 47 years old. He had spent 15 years in federal prison. Most men would have walked away. Most men would have tried to go straight. Dono is not most men. On July 13, 2024, a crew of about 10 people arrived near Chanel's flagship store on East 57th Street in Manhattan. They were driving two vehicles, a white Sprinter van and a white minivan. Several of the crew members were dressed as construction workers. They entered a building under construction on East 58th Street, which gave them access to the alleyway and fire escape system behind the Chanel store. About an hour later, two individuals entered the store's stockroom through a ceiling hatch. The hatch's handle was destroyed. The lock was forcibly broken. They stuffed hundreds of Chanel handbags and accessories into large trash bags and laundry-style sacks. The merchandise was passed through the ceiling hatch to accomplices waiting in the alley. At approximately 1:18 a.m. on July 14, 2024, about 5 people carried roughly 10 large bags through the construction site and loaded them into the Sprinter van. The total haul? Nearly 300 items valued at approximately $1.7 million. It was a brilliant heist. Coordinated, sophisticated, a crew of 10, fake construction workers, a ceiling hatch, a fire escape, a construction site, a white Sprinter van, a white minivan. But there was one problem. The man orchestrating the whole thing had lost his left arm years ago in a car accident. Investigators identified Dono early in the case because of what court filings described as his unique physical characteristics. The one arm made him instantly recognizable on surveillance footage. Investigators also found surveillance videos of Dono and the two white vehicles parked outside a three-family home in Brooklyn on the same days they were allegedly used in the Chanel heist. Dono was arrested on May 19th and charged with grand larceny in the first degree. He pleaded not guilty and was released on $300,000 bond. None of the stolen merchandise has been recovered. The investigation remains active. The heist made headlines, but not everyone was impressed. Jean Borrello, a former Bonanno crime family associate, appeared on News Nation and questioned the entire operation. "I was a big heist guy myself," Borrello said. 10 people on one score is really bad. I've never heard of that. Being in a store for 3 hours? That's almost like an inside job. It just doesn't make sense. And the math. Borrello pointed out that even a $1.7 million heist doesn't pay out anywhere near the headline value once the goods are sold. You're whacking up 500-600 grand 10 ways. It's not even worth it. If they came out with $500,000, they got lucky. 10 people, 3 hours, $500,000 split 10 ways. That's $50,000 each for a federal felony. Not exactly a retirement plan. So where does this leave us? Tommy Dono is a one-armed Gambino soldier who killed an FBI informant to get made, did 15 years in federal prison, and then allegedly orchestrated one of the biggest retail heists in New York City history. He's out on bond. The investigation continues. The merchandise is still missing. And the question remains, is Dono a criminal mastermind, or just a one-armed mobster who got lucky? One thing's for sure, he's not done yet. If you want to go deeper into the world of notorious figures, we have got vintage collectible trading cards of the characters we cover. Relics from the past that you can actually hold. Check the link in the description. Subscribe for more notorious figures in history. Until next time, Chin Don.